My name is Missy, and if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I've always dreamed of finding love. Love is about being seen, the kind of attention that makes you feel special. But that's never been me. They say love finds you when you least expect it. I never believed that. Not until it literally found me. I was getting ready for school when I heard the doorbell ring. I opened the door. No one was there. And then I saw it. A mysterious box wrapped in silver paper with my name written on it. I wasn't expecting any deliveries. I wasn't even sure it was safe to bring in my house. But something inside me had to know what was inside. Tucked inside the black velvet was the most beautiful diamond ring I've ever seen. The way it caught the light and sparkled made my heart skip a beat. Next to it was a small, neatly folded note. For as long as you wear this ring, true love will find you. Was this a dream come true? I slid the ring onto my finger. I didn't question it. I didn't hesitate. And somehow, the ring was a perfect fit. Immediately, I felt a sudden, unexplainable shift in the air. When I got to school, things were different. Typically, I was just lucky to get noticed if someone bumped into me in the hallway. But when I walked in today, my classmates who usually ignored me seemed thrilled to see me. Even Amanda and Daisy, the most popular mean girls, gave me compliments.
Good morning, Missy. You look so cute. Missy, hi. Will you sit next to me at lunch today?
I was starting to think this was some kind of prank. But then in class, Mr. Robbins, my calculus teacher who never seemed to pass me no matter what I did, complimented my homework.
Everyone could learn a thing or two from Missy. She's the only one who turns in fantastic work.
By lunchtime, it was like people were fighting to sit near me. I had never gotten this kind of attention in my life. Girls kept trying to take selfies with me to post on social media, and boys kept throwing me looks of interest. Some even came over to chat me up. Even the nerdy, antisocial guy from my chemistry class, Gordy, came up to me after volleyball practice. And he never talks to anyone.
Hey, it's Missy, right? You're really good at volleyball.
I wondered if anyone at school had ever even heard his voice up until now. Were you watching me?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to be my girlfriend?
No. He just asked me what my name was, and now he was asking me to be his girlfriend? Who does that? My mind was racing. It was like I was totally invisible before. And all of a sudden, I was getting attention from everyone. Well, not everyone. The one person who I'd hoped would notice me, Jake, still walked by me like I didn't exist. I'd had a crush on Jake for, like, forever. When I read that note this morning, I thought Jake and maybe he would, I don't know. I thought this ring was supposed to bring me true love and that it would be with Jake. When I got home, my phone was ringing and buzzing off the hook with calls, text messages, new likes, and followers on social media. I didn't even recognize most of the numbers. That's when I wondered, was all of this from the ring? I took it off, and suddenly the call stopped. Interesting. Well, at least this way I could focus on my homework. The next morning, I realized I totally overslept and went to school in a mad rush. And when I got there, I was suddenly invisible again. No one talked to me, not even Gordy. None of my new friends paid me any mind. What changed? I realized I'd forgotten the ring at home in my rush to get to school. I was a ghost in the hallways, and that lack of attention was causing panic to creep over me. I didn't like being invisible again. Once I got home, I'd shove that ring back on and never take it off again. I wanted that feeling again. Needed to be seen. The next day at school, with the ring on, I had everyone's attention again. And it felt good. Really good. For the next few days, I was learning what it meant to be this new version of myself. The new Missy was confident, fearless. She owned every room she walked into. I quickly became the most popular girl in school. I had more followers on social media than my entire class combined. Every girl wanted to be me. Every guy wanted to date me. And lots of them tried. I flirted aimlessly with a lot of them for fun. But others that tried, I couldn't believe they would even shoot their shot with me.
Hi, Missy. Do you want to be partners in the chem lab today?
Ew, no, she doesn't. Why would someone like her ever even speak to you?
Right? Like, get a clue. He's such a loser. Really? The only guy that stood a chance with me was Jake. And he still really hadn't paid me the mind that other people had. Just then, I saw Jake at his locker. Maybe I just needed to try a little harder. Give him a nudge. I'd hit him with the move that had the other boys following me around like puppies. I walked towards him, and as I passed him, I flipped my hair and talked to him over my shoulder. Hey, Jake. Wicked shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Nothing. Barely even a reaction. How come everyone was obsessed with me except Jake? Clearly, either the ring didn't work on Jake, or he just wasn't my true love. I walked into chemistry sulking from my bruised ego. Seeing the line of boys hoping to be my lab partner didn't even help. I was still in my pity party when a deep voice with the hottest accent pulled me straight out of it.
Don't even bother asking her, boys. She's mine.
Timothy. He had just moved to the country a few months ago. Even though he kept to himself and barely interacted with anyone, he was shrouded with new kid mystique. Rumors flew around that he came from a super powerful rich family who lived in a mansion. Anytime I had seen him, he was just observing. I figured he was still trying to learn the ropes of an American school. And now, here he was, claiming me. The boys grumbled and laughed, while Timothy slid into the empty seat beside me like he'd always belonged there. He set down his books with a smooth ease, giving me a lopsided smirk. Wow, possessive much?
I prefer efficient.
You don't even know if I want to be your partner.
Don't you?
Before I could even respond, our teacher told us to begin. We put on our gloves and got to work. Timothy handled the assignment like he was a craftsman, and chemistry was his craft. Everything was done with precision and impressive control. Every so often, I would catch him glancing at me. So, you do this often? Mix potentially dangerous substances in your free time?
Only when necessary.
Where are you from, anyway?
You mean before I arrived here?
Well, yeah.
Europe.
Well, that's specific. The liquid in our beaker shifted from deep blue to bright pink, signaling the reaction was complete. I scribbled down the results. When I looked up, he was looking at me intently. You stare a lot.
Well, there's a lot of beauty to stare at.
Okay, that worked.
Now that we've found each other, you should let me take you out.
Now that we found each other, the note had said true love would find you. And here Timothy was. Maybe this was it. Okay, yes. Timothy smiled, looking as if he'd just won something. After class, we walked to lunch together, arm in arm. If I thought I had attention before, this was next level. Everyone, and I mean everyone, was talking about how Missy and the new hot European guy were together. The next morning, I walked into school to find a perfect red rose taped to my locker with a note for my beautiful Missy, thinking of you always, Tim. It was so sweet, the kind of thing I had always dreamed of someone doing for me. He carried my books to class and even paid for my lunch every day. I felt a flutter in my chest, a tiny voice whispering, "This is real. This is good." I was starting to feel something for him. For the next few weeks, it was like Tim and I owned the school, and I loved the feeling. Some people worshipped us, while others were so envious of our relationship. And I loved that even more. Old Missy might have wanted Jake, but new Missy deserved something bigger. Like a bunch of friends and attention, and someone rich and cool who's obsessed with her, like Tim. The best part was Timothy's access to the most luxurious things. It meant I had access to those things. One day, Timothy took a group of friends to the Larkwood Club, a super private and elite social beach club with a crazy membership fee. As I stood there tanning in the sun and being the center of attention, a waiter in a crisp white shirt approached. Jake.
Finally. I'll have a lemonade, fresh squeezed, not that canned garbage. Same. And make it fast, yeah?
Jake nodded, jotting down the order, but didn't say a word. That apathy, like he wasn't even paying attention, it bothered me a lot. You got that? Make it fast or no tip. We've waited long enough. Chop chop. Jake's jaw tensed, but he just gave a short nod before hurrying off. Amanda and Daisy looked at me, and then we all burst out laughing. Just then, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the sleek glass building. The girl who was staring back at me was standing next to girls who had always made her feel small. And now, I was one of them, behaving just the way they did. It made my stomach twist. I tried to turn my attention back to the group and Timothy, who was staring at me with a huge grin on his face, but that feeling was hard to shake. Who was I becoming? Over the next few weeks, the more time Timothy and I spent together, the more I realized that we didn't have much in common. He didn't watch movies or listen to music. He never laughed at my jokes. He never talked about his childhood or his friends or past or what he wanted to do in the future. Every conversation somehow circled back to how perfect we were together. Maybe it was true. Opposites attract, right? And anytime we were apart, the feeling that something was wrong would start weighing heavily on me. Then as soon as I was with him, I felt like I could breathe again. It had to be right. It all took a turn when I went over to Tim's house for the first time. As I walked up his driveway, I realized this was nothing like I'd been expecting. The house was a mansion, but it was old and creepy, the kind kids dare each other to walk past on Halloween. When I lifted my hand to knock, the door creaked open all on its own. There in the shadows stood Tim, grinning.
Missy, come on in.
I forced a smile and stepped inside. The only source of light inside were some flickering candles. And then I saw Tim's parents in the hallway. They were both tall, thin, and dressed in all black except for a bunch of old Victorian-looking jewelry. They just kept watching me. It was like their eyes never blinked. But it was the glazed look in his mom's eyes that freaked me out the most.
So, you're Missy.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, don't worry about that. Just call them Mom and Dad.
I froze. Mom and Dad? I just met them. Surely he must have been joking. I let out a nervous laugh, but no one else laughed. They just stared.
Do you believe in fate, Missy?
I guess.
Then you understand some things are meant to be. We're so glad you agree and like the ring.
The ring? How did they know anything about the ring?
I knew it would be perfect for her.
Wait, hold on a minute. You were the one who gave me the ring?
Of course I am. Now we can spend the rest of our lives together in love.
My heart dropped. Timothy had given me the ring? How was that even possible? This whole situation left an awful taste in my mouth. I looked over at his mom, who still hadn't opened her mouth. She grasped at her throat, and just then, I saw the same exact ring on her finger that I had on mine. I needed to get out of here, now! You know, I just realized that I totally forgot I have, a super big project due tomorrow. I should go home. I ran out of the house before they could say another word. What kind of insane family was that? I don't know what kind of power was in that ring, but I didn't want any part of it. I turned the corner onto my street, and there, on my doorstep again, was Tim, with a twitch in his eye. How did you get here before me?
Why did you leave? We were in the middle of a date.
This whole ring thing, it's really starting to creep me out.
I can explain. My family's been crafting jewelry for generations, but we aren't just skilled artisans. We have a gift. We can infuse our creations with the power of intention, bringing our very desires to life. That's exactly what I did with your ring. Our fates are bound now, you and me, forever intertwined.
I tried to stay calm as I took off the ring. A weird look came over his face. I'm really sorry, but I don't know if we should continue seeing each other. I'll see you at school, okay? I went into my house and started to close the door, but he stopped it with his hand.
Didn't you notice how much better your life was when you wore the ring? When I first moved here, I noticed you when no one else did. You were constantly looking towards other people, hoping someone would talk to you, include you in their conversations, notice you, praise you. But you always stayed in the shadows, too afraid to speak up. I could see what you really wanted, though. You craved to be seen just like me. I have the power to give us the attention we need, the attention we deserve, the power to bring you true love.
I don't think this is true love, Timothy, and I don't think I want the attention this badly. I handed the ring back to him, and I swear I will never forget the crazed look in his eyes. I closed the door, and this time he didn't stop me. Major sigh of relief. I should have known that ring was too good to be true. Sure, it brought me the popularity and the attention, but was all that worth an insane family and me not even recognizing myself anymore? The next day at school, I was back to the old Missy. No one talked to me, no one really even looked at me. It was like none of my friends even remembered who I was. And to be honest, I was relieved. I wasn't sure any relationship I had was authentic in the first place. And after everything that had happened between me and Tim, I just wanted to be alone. And weirdly enough, Tim had disappeared. He wasn't at school or in class for the next week. Maybe that was something else to be relieved and grateful for. One afternoon, I was having ice cream by myself at a cafe like I used to before, when suddenly, Jake walked in. He went up to order, and I pretended to check my phone. Not really sure why. It wasn't like he noticed me much anyway, even when I had the ring on. I got up and turned toward the door. Just then, a hand reached out and opened the door for me.
I got it, Missy.
Oh, thanks. We walked out together and kinda started walking in the same direction on the pier. Even though we weren't talking, there was some kind of charge. This was slow and quiet, not like what it felt like with everyone who gave me attention. I wondered what it would be like if Jake had paid attention to me, but that wasn't something I really deserved. I had turned into someone I didn't want to be. Hey, Jake, I'm really sorry about how I spoke to you the other day at the beach club. That wasn't cool.
Oh, people talk to me like that all the time at the club. It's okay.
It's not okay. I shouldn't have been one of those awful people. I'm sorry.
That's big of you. Thanks. I forgive you.
All of a sudden, the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and that's when I saw him, Tim, standing at the end of the pier, lurking in the shadows of a gift shop. He was watching us, and then he stepped forward into the light.
Missy!
His voice cut through the night like a knife.
Moving on so soon? You've just barely broken up. This could be considered cheating.
The way he said it sent a ripple of unease through me. You and I aren't even together, and Jake and I are just walking.
He doesn't know what you want, but I do. Put it back on.
Tim's hand moved to his pocket, pulling out the all-too-familiar ring. His fingers curled around my wrist slightly as he tried to slide the ring on. I tried to yank my hand away. No, Tim, you're being insane.
Insane? No, what's insane is you thinking you could just take it off. That you can pretend none of this ever happened.
His grip tightened, not painfully, but firm.
Let her go.
Jake's voice was steady, but there was an edge to it. He stepped between us. Timothy let out a slow exhale, like he was disappointed. His eyes flicked to Jake. Something dark flashed behind them.
You were never supposed to be here.
No, Tim. You're the one who was never supposed to be here. Timothy's head snapped toward me. His expression twitched, but I didn't care. Something inside me had shifted. You were never supposed to be in my head, making me think I needed you, or the attention, or the ring. Maybe I thought I needed people looking at me, talking about me, wanting me. But none of it was real. The attention didn't make me important, and it made me someone I didn't even recognize or like. And I'm done with that. I'd rather be invisible, and myself again. Timothy's face twisted into something ugly.
No, that's not who you are. You just need to remember.
His hand darted out, gripping my wrist, trying to force the ring back onto my finger again.
I said, let her go!
Jake shoved Timothy back. Timothy staggered but caught himself, then shoved Jake back violently. I gasped as Jake's foot caught the edge of the pier and he grabbed Timothy's hand at the last second, trying to regain his balance. But Timothy looked at him with a sinister smile and let go. Jake fell backwards and hit the water with a splash. I ran over to the railing, hoping that Jake was okay. But all I saw were bubbles. What is wrong with you? What if he can't swim? We have to get help.
Can't you see that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make you happy? To make sure you get everything you deserve? Just put the ring back on and I'll show you.
That's gonna be harder than you think.
My head whipped back around. Jake was above water, safe and okay. And in his hand, raised above his head to show us, was the ring. Timothy froze.
Give that back to me right now.
I don't think so.
Jake threw the ring in the opposite direction, and it plopped into the ocean, never to be seen again. Timothy's face went stark white.
You're going to regret that. Both of you.
Without another word, he took off, running off the pier as fast as he could. I looked back down at Jake, who had started to swim back to shore. I ran to him as he stumbled out of the water. I am so sorry. Are you okay?
Yes. Are you okay?
I nodded my head, but I could feel the tears starting to come. He hesitated for a second before pulling me into a hug.
I'm so sorry, Missy. I don't know what exactly just happened, but I'm glad I was here. You're okay.
For a long moment, we just stood there.
You know, I might not have said anything, but you were never invisible to me. But if it's something you'd want, I'd like to get to know you more.
Yeah, I think I'd like that. We weren't anything official. There were no promises or guarantees, but this felt more real, and that was enough. After Tim's assault on Jake, we contacted the police and went with the officers to his mansion. The officers knocked for a while, and finally Timothy's parents appeared, completely poised and calm.
We're looking for Timothy. There's been an incident.
Timothy's mother just looked at us with those glazed eyes, and his father politely smiled.
Timothy? Oh, I'm afraid you must be mistaken. We do have a son, but he doesn't live here. He's away at boarding school. Has been for years.
A cold shiver ran down my spine. That's not true. He's been at our school. I know him. And I've been here in this house with all of you before. The officers exchanged looks. One of them walked over to the car to hop on the radio to talk to someone. He walked back over a few moments later.
Ma'am, we've just checked. There's no record of a Timothy ever being enrolled at your school.
A sick feeling crawled up my throat. As the police started to walk away, Timothy's father bent down and whispered in my ear.
Attention is a fragile thing, Missy. The moment it shifts away, it's like you were never there at all.
Back at school, it was like Timothy had never existed in the first place. But Jake and I knew the truth. And sometimes I felt it, that prickling on my neck, the weight of unseen eyes, like Timothy was still watching. When suddenly, I saw a bunch of kids running toward me. I froze, stunned. But they rushed right past me without even looking. Confused, I turned around, and that's when I saw her. A girl standing in the middle of the crowd, all eyes on her. And just then, I saw it. The exact same ring on her finger that I once wore. There was only one thing I really wanted. A boyfriend. I dated before, but all those guys were jerks. I even said yes to a nerd for one date just to see if he'd surprise me. Never trying that again. No thank you. Next! I was beginning to lose hope in ever finding my Prince Charming. That was until Chris came into my world years later in high school. My eyes were immediately hooked onto him. The looks, the smile, and the muscles rippling underneath his shirt. I just had to have him. So I asked him out, something I would never do normally. But it all worked out because he said yes. It didn't take long for us to finally go on our first dinner date. It was incredible. He was such a gentleman and knew just the right things to say. I knew right as he took my hand that he was the one. But I couldn't shake the feeling of deja vu, like I'd met Chris before. Oh well, I'm sure it's nothing. For the next few months, we went on many different dates, traveling all over the city, eating wonderful foods, and studying together at night. Everything was perfect. I had finally finally found a good boyfriend, and he was a keeper. But of course, something just had to happen to ruin it. Chris had planned a date at a fancy new restaurant downtown. I was so excited. I actually got ready early this time and speed walked to the restaurant with a spring in my step. But when I finally got there, my heart fell to the floor and shattered. Sitting next to my boyfriend was another girl with her arm around his shoulder. I didn't care if he looked a bit uncomfortable. I wasn't taking this betrayal lying down. So I burst through the doors and marched straight up to the duo's seat. Who is this?
Tia? You're early.
Answer the question, Chris. How could you cheat on me?
Wait, I didn't cheat.
Who is this then? Hello, you must be Tia. I've been looking forward to meeting you. I'm Chris's big sister. The name's Vecta. The girl's cheeky smirk nearly made me get physical, but her last words registered just in time. Sister? Yep. I wanted to see who claimed my brother's heart and changed him so much. You see, I'm very interested because Chris and I are very close. That's funny because he never mentioned you.
I thought I'd introduce you two when the time was right, but since Vecta is here, I guess there's no time like the present.
Well, nice to meet you. But we are supposed to be on a date. I don't want to be mean or anything, but...
She's right, Vecta. You should go home. I'll be back soon.
Oh, she didn't like that. She looked at us both, and instead of leaving, got comfortable. Nah, you two just act like I'm not even here. You won't even notice me. Besides, I'm starving.
Fine.
Fine? It wasn't fine with me, but she was a sister, and it was just one evening. How hard would it be to get through it? Turns out, really hard. She kept interrupting non-stop. Oh, Chris, I have this really funny story to tell you. That's hilarious. Oh, stop it, Tia. I think I just peed a little. I didn't even tell it yet, but I know it's really funny. You just said so yourself. Which reminds me, Chris, I've got a joke that'll make you poop. So, a duck and a chicken walk into a bar. She kept picking up food from Chris's plate and fussing over him. Why would you order this dish? You hate olives and broccoli. Here, I'll take those. Also, you've got sauce on your face. There, I got it. Do you need to blow your nose, Chrissy? And when she wasn't acting like his freaking mother, she kept staring daggers at me. I tried to act like I wasn't bothered at all and leaned over to feed Chris some of my pasta. But seconds later, he started coughing and turning blue. Oh my God, you poisoned him. What? Of course I didn't. Chris, are you okay? Say something. He can't, you moron. His tongue is swollen. What is in that pasta? Blueberries, kiwis, dandelion tea, rosehip oil, Diet Coke? No. Honey, oysters, anchovies. Yes, it has anchovies. Don't you know anything about him at all? And with that, she quickly reached into her bag, pulled out an EpiPen, and stabbed him with it in the thigh. He gasped and coughed some more, but he could finally breathe. What would you do without me, bro? The date ended after that, thankfully. And as I went home, I hoped it was the last I'd ever see of her. But for the next 2 months, it was the same. No matter where we went and what we did, Vecta was there to ruin it. Chris just couldn't seem to shake her off and would let her stay. And she kept making it obvious that she disapproved of me greatly. I'd catch her staring at me with disdain, like I wasn't worthy of him or something. It didn't feel like the frustrations of some jealous ex, thank God. But it was something serious, enough to squeeze herself in on our dates and annoy me while wearing the most outlandish cosplay outfits and hairstyles. So childish. It was even affecting Chris. He had been looking more downcast lately. It came to a head when he actually decided to hang out with Vecta over me for a day. What?
Look, she's my sister, and I have been neglecting her recently.
But what about our date today?
She would just crash it as usual. I promise we'll hang out this weekend, just the two of us.
He kissed me on the cheek and then left me devastated and confused. That night in bed, I stayed up pounding my pillow, imagining it was Vecta's face. I wanted our private time back, but as much as I wanted to slap her, violence wasn't the solution. Instead, I needed to know what Vecta's problem was. There must be a reason for why she was acting the way she was. Luckily, a puzzle piece fell into place during the weekend. As promised, I was hanging out with Chris at his place. We were watching a cheesy romance movie while snuggling on the couch. Right on time, Vecta came out of nowhere and inserted herself into our lives again. No, literally, she came and sat between us on the couch, holding a dead potted plant. You let our plant die? The plant that symbolizes our bond as brother and sister?
I've never even seen that plant before. Vecta, what do you want?
A plant that's alive? But I guess that ship has sailed. Do you know what next week is? Christopher? Christopher? Now, why did that name sound so familiar? Before I could remember anything, Chris let out a loud sigh.
I told you not to call me by that name.
Whatever. Now guess, before I call you by your real name again. That's your real name?
Used to be. Anyway, I don't know what's happening next week, Vecta. Can you just leave us alone today?
A part of me was jumping for joy at the way Chris snapped at her, but another part noticed how hurt Vecta looked. I gave in to my more merciful half. What's happening next week, Vecta? It's the annual LARPing Capture the Flag event for our city. LARPing? Like that thing nerds do outside? Playing pretend? Yeah, figures you would say that. Are you attending it with me, Christopher? You can even bring your girlfriend.
Why would I do that? That's for losers.
Then Tia should fit right in. That was it. What is your problem? You.
Sis?
No, everything was fine before she showed up in your life. I could say the same for you.
Stop it, you two.
No, not if we want this to stop for good. Vecta, I have a proposal. Interesting. Shoot. We'll join your stupid game. Do we play in teams? Oh, I see where you're going with this. Yeah, we do. I'll be on the team opposing yours. If my team wins, you'll stop interfering in our relationship. And if mine wins, you'll break up with Christopher.
That is not your choice to make, Vecta.
What? Scared she'll lose? Get bored of you and the game, walking away from both? What? I wouldn't do that. I love Christopher, and I'll prove it by beating you. Deal? Deal. We shook hands, and I suddenly realized I just made a deal with the devil, all because I let my emotions get the better of me. I don't even know how to LARP. But there was no backing down now. My relationship was on the line. Before this is over, I'm going to remind my brother of who he really is, all while kicking you to the curb where you belong. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Vecta left, and I slumped down on the couch. What did I just sign myself up for? Chris sighed before looking at me with determination.
If we're going to do this, then I'll have to train you.
You know how to LARP?
Of course not. I just picked up some things from my sister.
If you say so. Where do we start?
Conditioning.
Say what? Chris was not joking. I was put through actual exercises and drills like I was preparing for the army. I was seconds away from giving up, but I refused to lose to Vecta. So I pushed on. And you know what? I'm glad I kept at it. Sure, the conditioning was terrible, but once I was actually playing the game, it felt like I was in another world. It was magical and so different from anything I was used to. But what really made it all worth it was Chris. He was really enjoying himself. That and his immense knowledge on LARPing made it clear he had played before, although he refused to admit it. I hadn't seen him smile like this since ever, really. And if he was happy, I was happy. Eventually, the weekend came, and it was finally time for the event. And when we arrived at the venue, oh my god, there were at least 200 people here. They had even built small buildings and tents, and the large space with a nice forest surrounding us made it even more picturesque. Before I could really appreciate the beauty, Vecta came running up to Chris. Christopher, you really came.
Of course, we both did.
Hello. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about you. Are you sure she won't slow you down? I'd hate for you to lose because of a handicap. Hey!
No worries, she's a natural. She even started to like it.
She did? Yep, this isn't so bad. I'm sure she's just faking it. I'll prove it by winning this thing. Before Chris could say anything, Vecta fled into the crowd. She really doesn't trust me, huh?
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. She's just a...
No, she's lonely, okay? Please don't hate her for this. It's my fault anyway.
Before I could dig further, a horn echoed throughout the field. It was almost time. The two teams, red and green, got into position. The two flags were placed in their proper bases. Finally, the next horn signaled the start of battle. I kept close to Chris. Despite the training, this was still nerve-wracking. The worst part was the mages in the teams pretending to react to their own foam ball spells. It was a struggle at first, but eventually I got used to it and started having fun. I could tell Chris was having a blast too, even more so when he noticed I was having fun too. Eventually, our squad was closing in on the enemy camp. Our leader suggested a pincer attack. Chris was on the other attack squad, which nearly caused me to panic, but a comforting hand to the shoulder later, I calmed down. So we split up and went deeper into the forest. And this is where things got bad. One by one, my squad was picked off by some archer in the woods. It didn't take long for me to be the last one standing. That's when the culprit revealed herself. I'm surprised you lasted this long. Vecta, of course. I should have known. We stared each other down before Vecta threw down her bow and drew her foam sword and shield. Let's make a new deal. The first one to get a hit wins. Same conditions from before apply. I drew my own sword and shield. Fine. Good. Prepare for failure. Wasting no time, Vecta charged at me as if this was a life and death battle, and I responded in kind. I wasn't losing my relationship with Chris. We clashed repeatedly, trading blows on our shields, unable to get a body shot. Shockingly, I was holding my own. Chris had taught me well. I dodged an attack to my leg and asked the burning question in my head. What is your problem with me dating Chris? Shouldn't you be happy for him? Now that really got her mad, and she was lashing out even harder. You seriously haven't figured it out? Of course not. Why would someone like you remember some poor, nerdy boy who bravely asked the popular girl out? Huh? Suddenly, it all fell into place. Chris was Christopher, the nerdy boy I had turned down all those years ago. Christopher used to be a big nerd just like me, and we were always super close, but he decided to abandon who he is to become the kind of guy you'd want, a typical Prince Charming. I barely even recognize him now. I felt ashamed of how I hadn't even given Christopher a chance before. I judged him by his appearance before I even got to know how sweet and amazing he was, but I knew that now, and I liked everything about him, nerdy side and all. I wasn't so shallow anymore. With renewed determination, I took advantage of Vecta's rash attacks and finally got a hit on her side, and she lost. She was about to break down into tears, but before that could happen, I hugged her. I get why you hate me, Vecta, and I'm sorry for turning him down like that before. Your brother is a great guy, and I would never want to change him. Are you serious? Yeah, I love him after all. For the first time, I actually saw Vecta give me a genuine smile. I gladly returned it. Just then, the horn blew, signaling someone had won. We ran back to the team's base, and the sight brought another smile to our faces. Christopher was being carried by his team while holding the green flag, and the smile he wore melted my heart. We won! My brother is something special, huh? He sure is. I was never exactly the most popular girl in school. Well, at least not for the right reason. My sister Lenore and I grew up with parents who were the very definition of a weird goth couple. You know, the usual. Dressing like Victorian gravediggers, feeding ravens in the park, and that one time my mom pranked the dentist with her fake vampire fangs. Yeah, typical parent stuff. But believe it or not, my parents aren't my biggest problem. They're actually the best, most supportive parents anyone could hope for. Yes, we get stares and whispers when we go out in public together, but we didn't care. We were living our best lives. That is, until Lenore and I started elementary school. We were dressed in our usual goth attire, black clothes, black shoes, and black backpacks. My pet spider Sam even snuck into my pocket. The moment our parents dropped us off, the other kids started laughing at us and saying mean things.
Hey, look! Twin freaks! Is your mom a vampire? Is your dad Frankenstein?
Lenore was so embarrassed that she ran off and hid in the bushes.
Leave me alone, you jerks!
I tried to shove one of the mean kids out of my way, but he didn't budge. Just then, Sam crawled out of my pocket and jumped on the kid's face. The kid ran crying and screaming like a maniac. The principal found out, and I was suspended for 2 weeks. That night, Lenore begged Mom and Dad for new clothes. She threw a huge tantrum and refused to eat. When that didn't work, she blasted pop music and ran around the house dressed like a clown.
That music, it's so happy. It's melting my brain. All those colors in that clown costume are burning my eyes. Please, make it stop.
By the next morning, Lenore got her way. Mom and Dad bought her a brand new wardrobe. When my suspension was over, I went back to school. And to my surprise, Lenore was the most popular and best-dressed girl in school. During lunch, I tried to sit next to her, but this girl named Stella looked at me like I had 3 heads.
What are you doing, creepy crawly? You can't sit here. No weirdos allowed.
I looked over at Lenore, and she just shrugged.
You heard her. Go sit somewhere else.
As the years passed, Lenore and her BFF Stella became more and more popular. By the time we reached high school, they were captains of the cheerleading team. They had the best grades in our class, and all the boys wanted to date them. They were perfect, and I was a disaster. I did want to make friends, but I could just never get it right. Like for my 14th birthday, I planned a huge birthday party and invited my whole class. I had a spooky birthday theme, of course, which I was sure everyone would love. But just as the kids were done singing happy birthday, I opened the closet and a dozen bats flew all around the room and maybe acted like they were attacking the kids. Everyone started screaming and running around in a panic, and then they left. And the next day at school, the kids whispered behind my back and refused to talk to me. But it was fine. I didn't need those jerks. I still had Sam. Yeah, the tarantula. Jeez, why is everyone so scared of these beautiful creatures? But even though hanging out with Sam was fun, I got lonely sometimes. I never imagined that my life could become an even bigger mess than it already was. But, fate had something in store for me. On Valentine's Day, I walked down the hallway during recess to find a dozen boys surrounding Stella and Lenore in the hallway with gifts and flowers.
Please go out with me, Stella. I'll buy you a Ferrari. Be my Valentine, Lenore. I'll fly you out to the Bahamas.
As I rolled my eyes and took my stuff out of my locker, I was surprised when a bright red envelope fell out of a book and it had my name on it. Hey, what's that? I was super excited, but I tried to play it cool. I got a Valentine. Ooh, Creepy Crawly has a secret admirer. Stella snatched the envelope out of my hand and made a huge commotion. Suddenly, everyone was staring at me. Hey, give that back. It's private. Stella tossed the envelope to Lenore, who opened it and started reading it out loud. My darling Annabelle, you're a shining star, a diamond in the rough. The jocks and cool girls can't measure up to you. Whoever wrote this must be blind and stupid. I tried to get the letter back, but Stella got in the way. You're my debating diva, my leading lady, my dancing queen, and my future class president. My heart aches when I see your face. Love, your secret admirer. Lenore, Stella, and all the other cool kids couldn't stop laughing, but I was shocked. I only joined the debating team a couple days ago. The last role I played in drama club was a donkey's butt, and I was too shy to dance in front of anyone. Plus, the odds of me becoming class president were slimmer than a toothpick. Just then, Jack, the editor of the school newspaper, materialized right beside me.
I think that's a nice letter to get on Valentine's Day.
Of course you do, nerd. I bet you wrote this junk.
It wasn't me, I swear.
Whoever wrote this has lost his mind. Yeah, he's a crazy lunatic. Lenore ripped the letter to pieces and threw it in the trash. That was mine, you witch! You're so stupid, Annabelle. You don't really have a secret admirer. Someone's just pulling your leg, you dummy. Lenore was probably right. It was a stupid joke. I felt like the biggest loser ever. Once everyone had walked away, Jack pulled the letter out of the trash and taped it back together.
Ignore them. I think your secret admirer is real. Maybe I can help you find him.
Jack spent the rest of the day asking me a ton of questions about every boy I'd ever spoken to or sat next to in class. He even came home to continue with his questions. Jack was annoying at first, but it felt kinda nice to have someone taking an interest in me.
I'm positive he's a member of the drama club or the debate team. All you have to do is lure him out.
How am I supposed to do that?
Simple. If you suspect someone, you'll wink at him and smile, like this.
Jack started doing something really weird and twitchy with his face. Just then, Lenore barged into my room. You idiots are still searching for that stupid secret admirer? Not real. My secret admirer isn't stupid. If you aren't going to help, you can get out. Fine, dummy, I'll help. Don't say I never did anything nice for you. Lenore spent all night teaching me how to flirt with boys. The next day, I set my plan in motion. First stop, drama club. I asked the drama teacher if I could audition for the lead role, and surprisingly, I got it. During rehearsal, I met a cute boy who seemed to be into me. When I caught him staring at me in the hallway, I grabbed Jack and pretended to laugh at a joke. Oh, Jack, you're so funny. Your arms are like marshmallows made of steel.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm flirting with you. Play along. Oh, stop. You're too much. Drama boy immediately swooped in and asked me out on a date, and it was pretty sweet. He read me poetry and sang to me, but he swore he didn't write the love letter. My next date was a boy from the debate team. I studied for days to earn a spot on the team, but I ended up being so good that I kept beating the team captain, and every time he saw me in the hall, he gave me the meanest looks. I think he hates me. He's just plain hard to get. One night, me and Debate Boy stayed after everyone had left to practice, and the next thing you know, we were kissing. But when I asked him if he was my secret admirer, he got annoyed and blocked my number. A day later, out of the blue, Stella's ex-boyfriend Dylan, who was the best dancer in school, invited me to a party. I didn't think it was a good idea to go, but then I remembered something. OMG, Jack, what if it's Dylan? You know, this one time Dylan came over to my house with Stella, and he accidentally walked into my room when I was dancing alone.
It could be him. Yeah, your secret admirer called you a dancing queen.
But what about Stella?
What about her? Stella broke up with Dylan 2 years ago. She's dated 6 guys since then.
I took Jack's advice and went to Dylan's party. As soon as I got there, Stella marched up to me. I heard you're trying to date my boyfriend.
Isn't he your ex?
He's mine and he doesn't date freaks like you.
She's not a freak. I think she's unique and much cooler than you.
Stella got mad and stormed off. Dylan took my hand and pulled me to the dance floor. All eyes were on us, and I got really nervous. Then Dylan whispered in my ear,
"You got this, dancing queen."
I was beyond excited. Dylan just quoted a line from my letter. My nerves melted away and we were dancing like superstars. The crowd cheered my name, and at the end of the night, Dylan gave me the perfect kiss. The next day, we were the talk of the school. The more time I spent with Dylan and all his friends, the more I started to realize that I'd been an outcast all this time because I'd never really tried to get to know the other kids at school. I hadn't given them much of a chance because they were different from me. They weren't bad at all, and I could make compromises and not bring Sam to school. Overnight, I became Dylan's girlfriend and even more popular than Stella and Lenore. Someone even nominated me for class president, and I actually won. Even Lenore was nicer to me now, and we'd hang out more. Life was perfect, except for Stella. Every time she saw me, she gave me death glares. She spread rumors and tried to make fun of me, but no one paid attention. My schedule got so busy that with being class president and spending time with Dylan, that I hardly had any time for Jack. Then one day, Jack caught up with me in the hallway. "So, what's the verdict? Is Dylan your secret admirer?" "Maybe. I haven't asked him yet." Then I opened my locker and found another letter in a red envelope from my secret admirer. I started to open it, but I hesitated. What if my secret admirer wasn't Dylan? Then Stella appeared out of nowhere. She snatched the envelope out of my hand and ran down the hall and right up to Dylan. "Hey, Dylan, I'm sorry to be the one to drop the bad news, but your creepy crawly girlfriend is a cheating witch." Stella showed Dylan the love letter. "Dylan, it's not what it looks like." Stella read the letter out loud. "Dearest Annabelle, I'm sorry I've been away for so long. You've kissed a handful of frogs, but that's over now. Meet me behind the bleachers after school and I'll reveal myself to you. Love, your secret admirer and one true love."
Am I a frog?
"That seems to be the case, dummy." "Shut up, Stella."
Let's go, Annabelle. Your secret admirer is waiting.
I didn't know what to do. The last thing I wanted was to break Dylan's heart. "Dylan, when you called me your dancing queen, I thought you wrote me the letter on Valentine's. I thought you were my secret admirer."
Who cares about some stupid letters? You already have me.
Dylan was right, and he was sweet, but he wasn't my true love. "I'm sorry, Dylan. I just need to know who it is."
I really care about you, Annabelle, and I wish you'd change your mind. But if you don't feel the same way about me, then you should go.
I thanked Dylan and gave him a kiss on his cheek. Then I snatched the letter out of Stella's hand and ran. I felt like a jerk, but I had to meet my secret admirer. He'd seen me when I was invisible. He really knew me. I wouldn't have ever had the confidence to make new friends, audition for the lead in the school play, or run for president if it wasn't for his first letter. Jack and I raced out the door and headed straight for the bleachers. When we got there, Jack turned to me.
I'm your secret admirer, Annabelle. It was me all along.
Jack leaned in to kiss me, but something didn't seem right. I didn't feel any butterflies. In fact, I felt pissed. "What? You've been lying to me this whole time? If you liked me and sent me the first letter, why did you make me go after the other boys?"
No, it was just a little game. I wanted you to see the garbage out there to realize we're perfect for each other.
Well, thanks to your stupid games, I just broke Dylan's heart. I got so mad I pushed Jack into the mud.
Man, Stella didn't say this would be so complicated.
Stella? What does she have to do with this?
Did I say Stella? I meant melons. I'd sure like a melon right now. How about we go get one from the supermarket?
I grabbed Jack and told him to tell me the truth.
Fine, I didn't send the first letter. The new letter is a fake by me. I wasn't expecting you and Dylan to actually become a thing. I thought he'd just be one of those popular jerks who'd ditch you soon. But when you got all chummy, Stella came up with a plan to write the second letter so she could get Dylan back, and I could finally have you notice me. We really don't know who sent the first letter. Come on, just forget about your stupid secret admirer.
I couldn't believe it. I ripped up the letter and threw it in Jack's face. My secret admirer isn't stupid.
He's a dumb cow who's too embarrassed to show his face. Or maybe he's not even real. He's just a joke, like you.
I punched him, ran straight home, threw myself on the bed, and cried into my pillow. Hey, what's up, creepy crawly? What do you want, Lenore? I heard about what happened with Stella and Jack. I'm really sorry. You were right all along. I don't have a secret admirer. The whole thing was just a joke, and I was too dumb to see it. Just leave me alone. After that, I moved on with my life. My parents bought me a new coffin to cheer me up.
Lenore started being nicer to me, and Dylan and I managed to become good friends. Jack spent weeks begging me for forgiveness, but when Sam bit him on the nose, he stopped bothering me. I thought the whole secret admirer thing was behind me until one night. I'd just come home from a party. I went to a lot of those now that I was class president. I was super exhausted and immediately fell asleep. And then I woke up in the middle of the night. At first, I didn't know where I was, but soon I realized I was in my mom's home office, under the Victorian hardwood desk. Moonlight streamed through the windows, drenching the room in white light. I looked down at my hands and saw that I was holding something. It was my mom's ink pen, and I was holding a red paper with something written on it. Beside me were a handful of matching red envelopes. My heart clenched when I finally realized what was going on. I haven't written to you in a while, my dearest Annabelle, and that's because you don't need me anymore. I'm writing to you one more time to tell you that I'm so proud that you've accomplished everything you wanted, and I'm sure you'll achieve so much more. Love, your secret admirer. It wasn't my handwriting, not exactly, but I knew it was written by me to me. I knew I had a habit of sleepwalking and scribbling things on walls as a kid. I guess that had returned. I'd written that first letter to myself in my sleep. I was my mysterious secret admirer all along. Weird or not, I'd found my greatest cheerleader, gained confidence, made friends, become class president. Nice going, me. I rolled the letter into a ball and threw it in the trash can. Finally, it was over. Oh yeah, one more thing. You have to promise not to tell anyone. Pinky swear and cross your heart. It's our little secret. Shh. When I was in the 3rd grade, Mom was convinced that Dad was having an affair with his pretty new secretary. So one day, she took me and my older sister Sophie to his office.
Please don't steal our daddy, lady. Don't take him away from us. Who will feed us and buy us clothes? Do you want us to be orphans? It's a very bad thing to be wait, I forgot. I wrote it on my arm. Oh yeah, a homewrecker. Homewreckers are bad, and you'll end up in jail, bad lady.
Wait a second. Are those my jeans you're wearing? I want my jeans and my husband back, witch!
Are you insane? As if my size 0 jeans would even fit your size 8 butt.
Mom snarled and leapt at the secretary, who dodged her and went screaming down the hallway. She burst into the conference room with Mom on her tail, and the two ended up crashing onto the large conference table where Dad was having a meeting with the company's top executives.
What on earth? You cheated on me and gave this bimbo my favorite jeans!
Mom threw a stapler at Dad, which missed him and hit his boss instead. Needless to say, he was fired. And that was the day he left us for good. Sophie and I were devastated.
Wipe your tears, girls. He wouldn't have left if he wasn't cheating on me. Take it from me. All men are garbage, and we're better off without them.
Well, that didn't stop me from having my first crush in the 7th grade. His name was Adam, and he was our neighbor. One day, Sophie caught me staring at him from my window.
Adam and Nora sitting in a tree. Kissing.
Shut up, Sophie. I don't even like that boy.
Yes, you do. You want to brush his hair and hold his hand and have his babies. I read it in your diary, see?
I snatched my diary out of Sophie's hands and pushed her out of my room. She was so annoying. A couple of weeks later, a super pretty girl named Becca joined my class, and we quickly became friends. Once, when we were hanging out at my place, Adam showed up at my door. Hi. I brought you some cookies I baked myself. You free to hang out?
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't I be free? Wait, I have another guest over, but yeah, I don't think she'd mind. Come in. You smell so good. I mean, the cookies smell so good.
I wanted Adam to have a good time, so I logged on to Ask Brain 2 and asked about fun game ideas. The 3 of us played Truth or Dare, charades, and hide and seek. A couple of times, I caught Adam smiling at me, and when he brushed cookie crumbs from my cheek, my heart skipped several beats. The next day at school, I was at my locker, and I saw Adam staring at me from across the hall. Suddenly, he winked at me and blew me a kiss. The butterflies in my stomach went into a frenzy. I raced down the hall, ready to jump into Adam's arms, but I slipped on a banana peel and fell face first right at Adam's feet. I thought he'd sweep me up, but instead he stepped over me, hugged Becca, and gave her the most romantic kiss I'd ever seen. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. That night, Mom and Sophie caught me crying in my room. Boys are like that, sweetie. They'll lead you on, make you think they love you, then tear your heart out, just like your father. Not only was my heart broken, now I was totally paranoid when a boy even came close to me. Hey, Nora, you want to go to the movies?
I'd rather eat a bag of worms.
Would you be my Valentine?
Stay away from me, or I'll dunk your head in a toilet.
Nora, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Liar! After a while, I got a reputation for being a little cuckoo, and most of the kids in school started avoiding me, but I didn't care. Sophie was totally different, though. She'd flirt with every boy that passed her in the hall and date a new jerk every 2 weeks. Of course, they all broke her heart, and I felt so sorry for Sophie that I decided to help her. You gotta remember my rules, Soph. Don't let their good looks fool you. Don't trust anything they say. Don't let them melt you with their kisses, and don't ever fall in love. Sophie listened attentively and took notes, but a week later, I caught her kissing a boy named Clive in her room. You're breaking all the rules. Your rules are dumb. All boys aren't bad.
That's right, girl. Boys are cool, and that's why they rule. Ha ha!
Shut your stupid mouth. No one's talking to you. Where'd you pick him up from? The dumpster? That's your problem. You're so judgmental and won't give any boy a chance. I thought you were smarter than this, Sophie. Maybe hanging out with stupid boys has made you stupid too. Sophie kicked me out of her room, and we didn't speak much after that. Soon, I was off to university, and there were boys everywhere. I just kept my head in my books and rejected any boy who even tried to make a move. But you know, a girl starts to get lonely. So, when a girl in my class asked me out one day, I impulsively said yes. Just because I'd renounced all men didn't mean I couldn't find love. And how bad could it be, right? At first, not so bad. In fact, pretty great. She loved to cook, she braided my hair, she gave me the best pedicures, and we were the same shoe size. But then, she started acting like I'd adopted her. She would never leave my dorm, and I hated it when she used my towel and my hairbrush. She was clingy and needy, and constantly needed validation that she was the most important person in my life. So, if your mother and I were hanging off a cliff, holding on for dear life, and you could only save one person, who would it be? My mother, obviously. Seriously, I've known you for a month. Mom carried me in her womb for 8 more months than that. I thought it was a reasonable answer, but she totally lost it. She broke half the things in my room and threw the other half out the window before she stormed off. Then she started stalking me everywhere I went. I tried talking to my other friends about how unsafe I felt, but they all laughed it off. Yeah, if you're dating a guy and complain about him, everyone shows you sympathy. But no one comforts you if it's a girl. Oh, come on, she's barely 5 feet and she looks totally harmless. What could she possibly do to you? Only after she tried kidnapping me did anyone take things seriously. She was expelled from the university and I got a restraining order. And after that, I swore off girls too. Then in my junior year, Sophie showed up at my dorm one day with the worst news. Clive proposed to me. You're kidding. Man, that loser is so out of your league. Don't worry, sis. I know how to handle this. Just send Clive a breakup text. Tell him he stinks, he makes you want to puke, and you never want to see him again. No, I love Clive. I said yes, and our wedding is in 4 weeks. I just came to ask you if you'd be my maid of honor. I couldn't believe this. I thought Clive was just a phase. I wanted to yell at the top of my lungs, "Don't do this, you'll ruin your life." But instead, I caved in and said yes. I mean, was I allowed to say no? When I got back home for Sophie's wedding, I tried to keep an open mind about Clive. But Clive was horrible. He had no sense of humor, he was boring, and he totally ignored Sophie to spend all his time with his friends or fixing his dumb car. So when it was time to make my maid of honor speech, well, things got out of hand. Here's to Sophie and Clive. Clive is dumber than an ant, he smells like a rotten egg, and his face reminds me of a horse's butt. What are you doing? Sophie, I don't know how you can stand him. Are you marrying him for his money? Oops, I forgot he's broke. Look, we both know this marriage isn't gonna last, so why don't we cut to the chase now, and I can get you out of that tacky wedding dress Clive bought you from the dollar store. Sophie got so mad that she threw the wedding cake at me, Clive's mom cried, and the rest of the bridal party chased me out of the building. The next day, I was packing my bags to leave when Sophie came to my room. I thought she'd punch my face, but instead, she took my hand. Listen, Nora, I'm not like you, okay? I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, and I don't hate men. I chose Clive, and if you want me in your life, you'll have to respect that. Okay, but you're making a huge mistake. You're the one making the mistake. Love is real, and one day, I hope you'll understand. I was only trying to do the right thing, but clearly Sophie was too blind to appreciate it. But when I got back to my university, my life turned upside down. My friends and I went to a restaurant to celebrate my birthday, but when we got there, the waiter told us our table was booked. 3 dumb guys were sitting there laughing and joking. But I booked this table a week ago.
My apologies, ma'am.
It was our mistake. Maybe you could come back tomorrow?
Just as I was about to snap at the waiter, one of the guys from the table walked up to us. His name was Chris. He had movie star hair, a $1 million smile, and a perfect body.
Why don't you girls join us? There's plenty of room, and we won't bother you.
That's a horrible idea. Don't mind Nora. She's just kidding. The next thing I knew, we were sitting at their table, and Chris talked to me all night. To my surprise, he wasn't the absolute worst. He worked in a private security firm as a bodyguard, and all his crazy stories made me laugh. At the end of the evening, he even asked me for my number. Don't get any ideas. I'm not interested in a relationship.
Neither am I. I was thinking we could be friends.
After that, Chris and I talked and texted every night, and soon we started hanging out almost every day. No, we weren't dating. We were just, okay, fine, it's true. Every time he was close, his cologne made me dizzy, and when he looked at me, my stomach did that weird thing that it does after I eat too much cheese. And if his hand brushed against mine, I started having acid reflux. Yeah, I let my guard down and fell in love, okay? And I wasn't the only one.
I know we're supposed to be friends, but I love you, Nora, and I think we're meant to be together. Like the moon in the night sky, like the bees and the flowers, like water in a well.
Just shut up and kiss me. Soon after I'd graduated and moved in with Chris, he got a job as a bodyguard to protect this beautiful pop star Sasha. Yeah, I know y'all have heard about her. Sasha, the gorgeous singing sensation who ended up dating her ex-bodyguard Damon? Yeah, that one. Sasha was going on tour, and for months, Chris was off traveling from city to city, and it got kinda lonely. Then one day, Mom and Sophie came to visit.
Oh, Nora, my poor baby. You must be so sad.
What are you talking about? Stop it, Mom. It's none of your business.
Your sister needs to know.
Mom showed me a bunch of pictures online of Sasha leaning on Chris's arm and laughing. Then she turned on the TV, and some stupid reporter said how cute Chris and Sasha looked together. When I heard that, I suddenly picked up a bat and smashed the TV to pieces. Nora, don't listen to Mom. She's paranoid. All that stuff is stupid gossip. Sasha is with Damon, and Chris adores you.
Nora, don't be naive like your sister. Everybody lies and cheats.
After Sophie and Mom left, I called Chris, but he didn't answer. I kept thinking about what Mom said and how I'd broken all of my rules, and now my heart was in danger. So the very next morning, I put on a disguise, took a bus to Sasha's next concert venue, and signed up as an extra on set. And I watched the two of them like a hawk. Every time Chris whispered something in Sasha's ear, my heart burned. She even asked him to zip up her dress once. Had everybody else died? One evening during Sasha's performance, I was backstage when I saw Chris and a dancer going into a dressing room and closing the door behind them. What the heck? I quickly ran after them and burst in. Aha! Caught you! Just then, I saw the girl's arm was bleeding and Chris was bandaging it.
Caught you? Wait, who are you exactly?
Oh God, I couldn't let him recognize me. I turned around and ran for it, with Chris sprinting right behind me. In my frenzy, I found myself heading straight for the stage.
Red alert, red alert. A snake is headed towards the eagle.
I found myself crashing into the dancers on stage, and just as I was about to run into a horrified Sasha, 4 men pinned me to the ground while the audience gasped. I was immediately carried away and found myself facing Chris backstage.
Nora?
I realized my wig had come off. Sasha's performance was ruined, and her manager insisted that Chris be fired.
What were you thinking? You compromised my client's security, and you cost me my job and my reputation.
Oh, I don't know, Chris. I was thinking how my hunky boyfriend hangs out with beautiful pop stars and dancers all the time and is never home anymore. Can you blame me for being paranoid?
Yes, I can. I haven't given you any reason not to trust me.
Yet. I just don't want you to be a bodyguard anymore.
Well, too bad. It's my job. Just go home, Nora. I don't want to be around you right now.
Feeling miserable, I ended up going to a dance club instead to get my mind off of everything. I saw this cute boy on stage playing with the band, and he kept winking at me. I recognized him from TV. He was a movie star. On an impulse, I took a deep breath and then walked up to the boy and gave him a passionate kiss. The next morning, I was back home, and I woke up to tons of pictures on the internet of me and that movie star kissing. Chris showed up at my door soon after.
Why would you do that to me? I thought we were in love.
Everybody cheats, babe. Welcome to the real world. I know you'll cheat on me one day if you aren't already. I am done with this stupid relationship. I walked out of there with my bags and went to Sophie. But soon after, I started feeling sick to my stomach. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was a cheater, something I hated and felt horrible about.
I made a big mistake. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you messed up big time.
I wasn't talking to you, Clive. There's no need to be rude.
You're right. I'm the worst, and I'm sorry for all the mean things I've said and done to you two. I don't know who I am anymore. I never wanted to hurt Chris, but something came over me.
You let Mom get into your head, Nora. She says she's better off alone, but all I see is a bitter, paranoid woman who can't be happy and can't stand anyone else's happiness either. You deserve to love and be loved in return. And yeah, sometimes love can hurt, but sometimes it can also be amazing, like what Clive and I have. I really don't understand how that's possible with Clive. Okay, sorry. You're right. I decided to see a therapist and learned to deal with my insecurities and trust my heart. I even wrote Chris a letter apologizing for hurting him. I didn't get a response, but that was okay. One day, I went to eat at the cafe where Chris and I had our first kiss. Then someone walked up behind me.
You're sitting at my table.
I looked up to see Chris looking down at me. He smelled like an ocean breeze. My heart melted, but I tried to play it cool. I don't see your name on this table.
You're right. Do you mind if I sit with you?
I thought you hated me.
I did at first, but I couldn't hate you for too long. You really broke my heart, though.
I hope one day you can forgive me. You were the love of my life and my best friend. I want you back, but I understand if you can't trust me. Maybe we can start over? We could take it one day at a time.
I can't promise anything, but I do want to give us a second chance.
And this time, I was throwing away all my stupid rules and following my heart. My great-great-great-great-grandfather's sister was married to the Duke of Scotland, so that made us partially royal. Dad got a big chunk of land in inheritance, but he sold that and moved to New York to work as a designer where he met my mom. They got married and had me, but when I was 10, Mom decided to turn into a spiritual yogi.
Truth is a myth. Happiness is a myth. Life is a myth. The only thing true is today, and today will be tomorrow, and tomorrow the day after.
What is she saying, Dad?
I wish I knew.
Mom went bonkers, left for the Himalayas, and never came back. Dad was sad for a while, but then he threw himself into his work and started his own fashion line. And as for me, I fell in love with poetry. Roses are red, violets are blue. A face like yours belongs in a zoo.
Hold up. Violets are not blue. Violets are just, violets? I don't know. Who made this dumb poem?
It's poetry, okay? It doesn't always have to make sense. Yeah, so I loved poetry and spent hours in my room, reading and writing stuff from scratch. I dreamt of publishing my own set of poems when I grew up. But then I turned 18 and everything changed. I was at a shoot for Dad's new fashion venture when a photographer saw me and was totally floored.
She's a diva. I've never seen so much beauty in my life before. She should be the face of your brand.
Turns out the photographer was right, and I was a natural. The ad went live after a week, and everyone loved me. I had fan accounts on social media, and my life became a series of parties and fancy dinners. At one such dinner, Dad introduced me to his investor's son, Marcus. He was the only heir to his dad's multi-million-dollar business, and he was dumb as a button.
Dad got me a private jet last week for my birthday. Pick a country, and I'll take you for dinner there.
Really? I've always wanted to visit the United States of never in this lifetime.
That sounds like a cool place. Where exactly is it?
Oh, it's close to I Can't Believe You're So Stupid.
I've never heard of it, but I'm sure we could make something work.
This guy was unbelievable, and no matter how much I tried stalling him, Marcus just never gave up.
Poor guy.
You want to date him? I'm pretty sure he's single, and I can put in a good word for you.
No thank you.
Anyway, a few months passed, and my life as a model only got busier. I hardly got time to breathe and was constantly tired. I tried telling Dad about it, but he always had one thing to say.
It's just a phase. Just get a good night's sleep, and you'll be fine.
No, Dad, I need a break.
Breaks are for losers, Haley. You're on top, and if you want to stay there, you'll have to push your limits.
I tried, but things kept getting messier. And then one day during a party, I just decided I'd had enough. So when Dad was busy talking to some stupid investors, I slipped away, rushed across the street, and slid into a taxi. Let's go.
I need a location, ma'am.
Just take me to the first place that comes to your mind. Anywhere.
As you say.
The driver hit the accelerator and rushed through traffic, landing us straight in front of a public bathroom. You couldn't think of anything better?
I was under pressure, and I haven't peed in almost 12 hours. This is the only place I could think of. Now wait here, and I'll be back in 10.
You'll take 10 minutes to pee?
Yes, I have a big bladder, okay? Runs in the family, actually. Why am I telling you this?
No idea. The driver shot me a glance and darted to the bathroom. When he walked back, I noticed he was kind of cute.
You're drooling!
Am not.
Want me to zoom in?
No, that won't be necessary, and I thought you were zipping it up.
Whatever.
Anyway, the guy introduced himself as Tyler and offered to take me to a diner close by, and I happily agreed. As the order came, I stuffed my face in food, while Tyler gave me a soft smirk.
So, what's your story?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid to trust a taxi driver in the middle of the night.
I was hungry, and you looked harmless. Also, I always carry pepper spray in my bag, so in case you act funny, I'm well equipped. Tyler shot me a funny look before bursting into a laugh. I joined him, and the two of us ended up having a great time. I was kinda disappointed when he dropped me back home. I didn't think I'd ever meet Tyler again, but the next morning, while I was leaving for my shoot, I saw him outside my house. So, you've been thinking about me, I see?
You left this Minion keychain in my car last night.
Oh, this! Haha, of course! It's my lucky keychain! You know it's important to be lucky or you'll get unlucky. And you can't get unlucky because then you're just sad. And I don't want to be sad, so thanks for making me lucky. Sorry, bring my luck back. I should go.
Actually, I was thinking, do you want to grab some ice cream? Or not, you're probably busy. Darn right she is.
I turned around and saw Marcus walking in our direction.
Why are you talking to this loser, Haley? Is he bothering you?
The only thing bothering me is you, Marcus. Tyler here is a friend.
Really? I didn't know you were friends with sewer rats. What did you just call me?
Tyler stepped up with his fists balled up, but I got in the way. He's not worth it. And Marcus, stop butting in my conversations and find someone else to waste time with. Marcus looked furious, but I just held Tyler's arm and left. He was still mad when we got to the ice cream parlor, but I calmed him down and we ended up having a great time. Tyler was cute, easy to talk to, and he had the best taste in music. We got talking, and I told Tyler everything about my life and how I actually wanted to be a poet, but Dad was against it. Tyler tucked a strand of hair behind my ears and came closer, and my heartbeat was in chaos.
Excuse me! I think I need to get myself checked for diabetes.
You're spoiling my moment.
Fine.
So, yeah. After that day, Tyler and I just got closer. He would drop by at my shoots with my favorite coffee and we'd go for drives. I was the happiest I'd been in months with Tyler around. But of course, Marcus hated it.
What are these rumors about you going around with that gutter-faced taxi driver?
Firstly, that's none of your business. And secondly, they aren't rumors. I genuinely like Tyler.
So you'd choose that poor rat over me? Are you blind or just dumb?
Tyler is twice the man you'll ever be, Marcus. At least he works hard to pay his bills than just feed off his father's money like a parasite. Now get out of my way. I accidentally pushed Marcus a bit too hard, and he landed in a bunch of chairs. I'm sorry.
You'll pay for this, Haley. Mark my words.
Saying that, Marcus just got up and left, and when I got home, Dad was waiting for me, looking like a ball of fire.
What were you thinking, Haley? Marcus's dad is our biggest investors, and you hurt his son.
He was being annoying, Dad, and it was barely a scratch.
That's not the point. You need to treat Marcus better. He's not just anybody. He's a
moron. And he's rude and flashy. I'm already doing everything you're asking me to do and literally left all my dreams behind.
Like what? Become a poet and roam around asking people to read your stupid poems? Let's face it, Haley. You're doing so much better here with me. Now remember, next time you see Marcus, be nice and don't do anything stupid.
I wanted to argue more, but Dad got a phone call and he left. I was so bummed when I met Tyler the next day and told him what happened.
You did the right thing by standing up for yourself.
I don't know. Dad's not happy at all.
He'll be fine. Now come on, I want to show you something.
We were sitting on a bench overlooking the ranch when Tyler turned to me. He held my hand in his, and I felt my cheeks turn red.
Haley, I know it's probably a long shot, and you look like a dream in this moonlight, but I can't keep this to myself anymore. I think...
Before Tyler could finish, someone pushed him hard and he landed on his face. I turned around and saw Marcus standing behind us. What the heck are you doing here?
Your dad has been calling you for hours, but you weren't answering. He thought someone kidnapped you and came to me for help, so I used my contacts to track you. And now, I'm gonna tell everyone how this guy abducted you. Unless, of course, you agree to come with me.
I
I'd rather eat a bag of worms than go anywhere with you. Don't make me force you. I'd punch your teeth in before you touch Haley. Uh-huh. Let's see what you got. Marcus punched Tyler, but Tyler ducked away just in time. He kicked Marcus in the shin before punching his face. Not my face, you moron! Just then, the police walked in along with Dad. Marcus must have alerted them once he knew where I was. Take him. He kidnapped my girlfriend and then hit me. See? He bruised my perfect jawline. I think I'm feeling dizzy. Saying that, Marcus dropped to the ground like a fly and passed out.
Okay, I take my words back. Marcus is a moron.
Finally, we agree on something. Marcus was carried off in an ambulance. Tyler got arrested, and I tried to stop the police, but Dad shoved me in the back of his car and took me home. Why would you do that? Tyler is innocent and Marcus is lying. I need to talk to the police. You can't. Why not? Because I'll lose everything. That's when Dad told me that a few months back, he ran into money troubles and started gambling. He even got involved with some illegal businesses and would have been in jail if Marcus's dad hadn't used his connections to help Dad out. The only condition was that you and Marcus get married. You've got to be kidding me! I'm not. Marcus fell for you the day he saw your first dad. He's the one who told his dad to invest money in my business. I thought you guys were old friends. Dad, I'm not marrying that jerk. You don't have to marry him. You just need to date Marcus. I will stall the wedding by a few months and figure out a way to get out of this debt. Please, help me. I wanted to say no, but Dad was practically begging me. I'd never seen him so helpless in my life before, and it crushed my heart. That night, I called Marcus and told him that I was ready to give him a chance if he took back his complaint against Tyler. Marcus agreed, and the next morning, Tyler was out. I went to the station to see Tyler, but before I could say anything, he spoke. I don't think I want to see you anymore. You and I come from very different worlds. Reputation is everything for me, and I can't keep going to jail because of you. So it was nice knowing you, but goodbye. Really? Is that how you feel about me? Yes, just please, stay away from me. Before I could say another word, Tyler walked away. I rushed after him, but Marcus got in my way. You heard him, Hales. He doesn't want to see you. Now, be a good girlfriend and forget about that leech. I have planned something exciting for you. The next few weeks were a blur. I missed Tyler terribly and tried reaching out to him, but he never responded. I wanted to go to his place and talk to him, but Marcus was stuck to me like chewing gum, and now he was even more controlling than ever. You look hideous in that dress. Change it. It's my dad's design. Well, it sucks. And keep your hair down. It hides your ears better. In fact, you should get plastic surgery to fix those ugly ears. The nose needs a little work too. I'm fine just the way I am. You could be better. Marcus was horrible, and Dad was nowhere close to getting the money. I didn't know what else to do except wait, but we were running out of time, and soon my engagement was announced. On the engagement day, I felt heavy and heartbroken. I was in the room, weeping my eyes out, when I heard some voices. I rushed outside to see Marcus holding my dad by the collar. What do you mean you can't pay for a champagne fountain? I already told all my friends. I don't have that kind of money, Marcus. You know that. Then beg, borrow, rob a bank. I don't care. It's customary in our culture for the girl's father to pay for everything. Marcus kept screaming at Dad, and I felt my blood boil. I walked up to Marcus, punched him in his gut, and he winced like a little boy. What do you think you're doing? It's customary in my culture to punch the guy if he acts like a jerk. And for the record, this engagement is off. You can't do that. I'll ruin you and your family. Try me. I took Dad's hand and the two of us walked out of the venue. As expected, Marcus's dad pulled out his investment and tipped off the police about Dad's involvement in the illegal business deals, and he got arrested. Dad lost the company, and his case went to trial, but fortunately, we had enough savings to hire a good lawyer, and Dad's sentence was reduced to 6 months. I'm sorry for dragging you into this mess, Haley. I wish I was a better father. You can be one now, Dad. It's never too late. Are you crying?
No, I'm not! Don't look at me! I'm hideous!
I don't disagree. Anyway, I picked up modeling again and moved to a smaller apartment. Marcus tried getting in touch a few times, but I got a restraining order against him, and a few weeks later, I saw on the news that his dad was arrested for smuggling. Karma paid him a visit after all. Everything was falling in place, except I still missed Tyler a lot. I had gone to visit him at his family ranch, but his neighbors told me he'd moved. A few months passed, Dad got out of jail, and I finally quit modeling. I wanted to give poetry an honest shot and was writing in a cafe when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Glad to see you're still writing. Tyler? Oh my God, how have you been? Good. I quit working as a taxi driver and got into college. We even sold the place on the ranch to move closer to college. I know, I visited. Listen, Tyler, I know you don't want to see me, but let me stop you right there. Whatever I said at the police station that day was because Marcus threatened me and my family, Haley. As much as I loved you, I couldn't let him hurt my mom and grandma the way he hurt me. So I decided to let you go, and it was the most difficult thing I'd ever done. You should have just told me the truth, Ty. And hold up, did you say you loved me? Yeah, dummy, I loved you. Actually, I think I still do. So, if you'd like, maybe we could catch up over coffee? I'd like that, and in case it wasn't clear, I love you too.
I think that's pretty obvious now.
Yeah, whatever. Now, can you look away so we can kiss? I lived in an old house with Dad, who worked as a potter. Mom left us when I was 4 to make it as a big movie star and never came back. With gorgeous hair and porcelain white skin, I looked exactly like her, and no one believed my dad and I were related, especially our nosy neighbors. Once when I was 6, Dad got a big order from the city. He worked all night to make all 20 vases. I was admiring them when I accidentally knocked them off, shattering them to pieces.
I'm so sorry, Dad. I didn't do it intentionally.
It's okay, Maya. Don't worry. I'll make new ones. But Dad couldn't make them in time, and he lost the order. He was devastated. Things got worse when the police knocked at our doors later that night. Our nosy neighbors heard the crashing sound and thought I was in trouble. Dad tried to convince them, but they only left when I showed them my birth certificate. I begged Dad to give the neighbors a piece of his mind, but he was a softie. They're just concerned.
No, they're crazy.
Things didn't change much even as I grew up. We struggled with money, but I was happy as long as I had my dad. On my 10th birthday, Dad took me to a mall and asked me to buy whatever I wanted. I saved it for your birthday, dear. You deserve it.
But Dad, I don't want anything, and we could use this money.
But he was dead set that I should buy something. I walked in, but the store manager refused to let Dad get in.
You won't be able to afford anything here. Why not? We have money, and we're here just like everyone else.
The manager made a face and refused us straight to our faces. Eventually, Dad gave in, and we left. It was humiliating. That day, I decided I'd never let anyone bully us like that. Soon after, I got into boxing, and by the time I was in 12th grade, I was the toughest girl in my class, and I started participating in all the major competitions around town and aced them all. One time during practice, I felt a sharp pain in my hand. Dad took me to the doctor, who confirmed I had a minor sprain and needed some rest and medicine. But Dad looked extra worried. Dad, relax. It's just a small sprain. It's not that. Your mom called this morning. She wants you to complete your school year with her. What? No way! She never looked back once, and now it's too late. This is only temporary till I look for a job. I don't even have the money to buy your meds, and you'll be starting college soon. I'll work hard and win a scholarship. I'm good at what I do. Please, don't send me away. But I knew Dad had made up his mind when the next morning a big car arrived in front of my house with Mom in it. When she saw me, she hugged me tightly. Oh, my sweet Maya. You're all grown up and so pretty, just like me. I pulled myself away as Mom smiled at me. It was the first time I'd seen her after so long. If not for her movies, I would have never recognized her. I am nothing like you. And please, don't think that I'm happy to do this. As long as I have you. Mom got her staff to pack my stuff, and I was ready to move within minutes. I was still unsure if this was a good idea, but Dad promised he'd get me soon and we'd be together again. So I left him with a heavy heart. The next few days in Mom's mansion were a nightmare. I wanted quiet time away from her, but she was stuck to me like gum in your hair. I was forced to take long walks with her and go on unnecessary shopping trips. And then one day, she changed my entire wardrobe. Where's all my stuff? Your old stuff was rotten, so I threw it away. But those things were important to me. Dad gave me those things. I want it back. You're my daughter. I can't let people see you as a poor girl anymore. So, that's what it's all about? That's why you took me away from Dad? Stop twisting my words.
I was just too angry to hear her out and slammed the door shut on my way out. Every passing day I spent there made me miss Dad even more, but he spoke to me whenever he could, and I was happy. When Mom told me I'd start school soon, I couldn't be more excited. Anything to get away from her would work. On the day I was supposed to start school, I woke up late to my mom screaming at someone. I went down to see it was the cook, and a boy stood next to him holding a bagel. How dare he steal from our kitchen?
But I found this in a pile of food you were throwing away, ma'am.
I'm talking to your father. If your son does this again, I'll fire you. They nodded and left. I went after the boy to see him give that bagel to a helpless girl on the sidewalk. That was the kindest thing I'd seen since I'd come here. When he looked in my direction, I noticed how cute he was.
She was hungry. I'm not some thief, but your mother didn't seem to believe me.
I believe you. I'm Maya. He introduced himself as Zach, the cook's son. We exchanged smiles, and when the driver arrived, he continued on his way. At least there was one kind person in this strange place. My first day of school was nothing like I'd imagined. Thanks to my mom, everyone knew who I was, and to make things more awkward, a really good-looking guy approached me in the hallway.
Wow, you're even prettier than your mom.
I looked at him, clueless.
I'm Marco. Your mom must have mentioned me. She's best friends with my parents.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. I started walking to class, but Marco stopped me again.
I wasn't done talking, princess.
Too bad. I was, and I'm late for class, Franco.
Marco.
Don't care. After that day, Marco did everything to get my attention. He started showering me with expensive gifts and flowers, and it almost looked like he was on a mission to get me to date him. Only later did I learn he was the mayor's son and one of the most powerful guys in town. Not that I cared. I already had an obsessive mom, so my hands were full. One day, it was Mom's movie success party, and the entire town was invited. She was so excited that she even bought us matching dresses and begged me to wear them.
We'll look like twins, baby. It'll be fantastic.
First, that's weird. And secondly, that dress looks like poop. I'd rather wear a tent. There was no way I was doing anything she wanted me to. So I went ahead and bought myself the weirdest dress I could find, just to embarrass her. The party was boring, and my eyes hurt from all that bling. And when I saw Marco enter, I knew I had to get out of there. I tiptoed my way into the kitchen, but banged into Zach.
Are you okay?
Hey, I'm just trying to ignore someone.
The guy in white who looks like he eats money for breakfast?
Yeah, how did you know? Zach pointed in Marco's direction, who was frantically searching for someone under the tables. We burst out laughing, and I noticed what a heart-melting smile Zach had.
Come here, I'll show you a great hiding place.
He pulled me toward the back entrance, leading to a sprawling garden. It was beautiful. Our eyes met for a second, and I felt a weird rush in my tummy.
So, why were you hiding from him?
He's just an idiot from school I'm trying not to punch. I wish I could return home and get away from this place.
You really hate it here, don't you?
I nodded. Zach and I walked around and started talking. He told me how he was saving up for culinary school and wanted to be a chef someday. And I told him my story.
Boxer, huh? Show me your moves. I know a little boxing myself.
Don't say I didn't warn you. I tried to do a fake box in the air, but ended up hitting Zach smack in his face.
That was good. Ow.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you hurt? As I tried to check for any broken bones, Zach moved in closer and tucked my hair behind my ears. I felt my knees go weak.
Better.
His eyes caught my attention because they were a gorgeous shade of green and could make anyone swoon. I wasn't paying attention when I noticed a flash from the corner of my eye, and then 100 people started taking pictures of us. I turned to run, but saw Mom staring at me with eyes blazing like fire. It's bad enough that you're dressed like a joker, and now you're flirting with the help? His name is Zach, and he's my friend. That looked more than friends. You embarrass me, Maya. Why don't you just abandon me then? You're good at that. Mom and I got crazy on each other, and the party fell silent.
You rude child. I saved you from your pathetic father, and this is how you repay me?
Mom reached for me, but she tripped over a rock and fell into the life-size fountain. Her makeup washed off her face, and she looked like a zombie. I knew I'd taken it too far. I stepped forward to help her, but Marco reached before me and helped her out. I apologized to Mom the following day, but she ignored me. Zach and I were all over the news, and as a result, his dad was fired and they left. He was my only friend here, and I missed him so much. With Dad not responding to me either, I was left all alone. Soon after, Marco and Mom started working on a movie together because Mom recommended him. It was bad enough I had to deal with that fame-hungry, good-for-nothing brat in school, and now he was always at home. A week before my 18th birthday, I was already feeling low, so I decided to treat myself to some ice cream. But while I was walking back home, I saw a hooded figure following me. "Come out, you jerk! What are you hiding your face for?" I was all set to knock his teeth out when suddenly the guy came forward and revealed his face. Zach! Oh my God, you got me there for a second.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Scared my butt? Why are you following me?
I work in a store nearby. I saw you come in, and I just had to talk to you. Maya, your mom is hiding something from you.
Zach told me that when he was fired, he'd gone back to collect his check when he heard Mom talking to someone over the phone.
She said something about a big deal, and Marco is involved too. Just check her office.
No wonder that jerk is always home. And he's also involved in her new film. What could this be about?
I don't know, but it's something big.
Thanks, Zach. I always knew my mom was up to something. Maybe it's time I got my answers.
One more thing.
Zach moved closer and kissed me lightly on my forehead.
Please be careful. I like you a lot, in case that wasn't clear.
I thought I'd lost my chance after that black eye I gave you, but I'm glad to know I didn't. Before leaving, I pulled Zach in for a magical kiss, and then I started with my secret mission. But I had no idea what I was looking for or where I would find it. With Marco around the house, I had to be extra careful. I found my opportunity when Mom offered to throw me an 18th birthday party. She'd be busy with the guests, and I could snoop around the office. She got me the most beautiful dress and even hired someone to do my makeup. I hated everything, but I didn't want to draw any attention, so I agreed. The whole house was filled with guests on my birthday that evening, and I spotted Mom in the corner talking to Marco. This was the perfect moment. I went to Mom's study and found some papers in a red mailer about some land deal. I was just opening them when Marco walked in. He saw me and grinned, and I had the weirdest feeling ever.
You're a sight for sore eyes, sweet face. That dress looks amazing on you.
Shut up, moron.
That's not how you talk to your fiancé, sweetheart.
Is this some kind of sick joke?
Well, your mom would answer that better. Why don't we ask her together?
Marco took my arm and pulled me outside. When Mom saw that, she came rushing and pushed him away. What are you doing?
Just bringing the truth out.
Mom, what's happening and what are these papers about? Mom looked at me in shock as the color drained from her face.
Why don't I do the honors?
Marco told me that Mom wanted to open a film academy but had money issues, so his dad pitched in. In return, she promised them a role for Marco and our marriage.
But now, she doesn't seem to believe me. Maybe she'll believe you.
I looked at Mom in shock, and she stayed silent. She totally did it. What kind of mother are you? First you abandon me, then you take me away from Dad, and now you want to use me as bait? My beauty won't last forever, so I had to think for myself, and I don't regret it one bit. You will marry Marco, and that's final.
Not without my approval. Don't forget, you signed over full custody to me.
I turned around to see my dad looking angrier than ever. I rushed to him and hugged him tight. Dad, I'm so glad you're here.
Maya, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
We all turned around, and I was completely shocked to see Zach walk in. He told us how Zach had called him a few days back and told him I was in trouble.
I was out of town to set up my pottery school. I wish I could have come sooner.
You're just in time. As Mom and Dad argued, I walked up to Zach. Marco tried to butt in, but I kicked him so hard, I'm sure he'll limp for days. I took Zach's hand as he smiled at me. Thank you. You truly are amazing.
Not half as amazing as you. I'm moving to Paris to study. Want to join?
I'll follow you anywhere. Zach and I kissed as I said goodbye to this fake life forever. I always liked history and the secrets of the past. Even when I was a child, the stories of the Roman Empire and dinosaurs fascinated me. Needless to say, history was my favorite subject. But there was one thing that made history class a chore. My rival and headache, Timmy. Don't let his name fool you. He was a nightmare. You see, like me, he was obsessed with history and the stories of the past. So what was the problem? He was a total jerk, that's what. He always scored higher than me in history class, and he always had the most smug grin about it. Considering our similar interests, it didn't take long for us to form a lasting rivalry. It even extended to our time in high school.
Oh, so close, Min. Did that question about the French Revolution stump you?
I would have had time to think it over if you didn't make those stupid faces when the teacher wasn't looking.
Not my fault that it makes you giggle.
I did not giggle.
Sure. Not like you could have beaten my score anyway.
And there it is, a perfect score. How the...
Better luck next time, Mindy.
God, I hate that smug grin. One of these days, I'm gonna wipe it off his face. Yeah, getting 2 straight 100s would restore my honor. But that never happened. Due to some family emergency, Timmy had to move abroad. I decided not to say goodbye. I turned away and let him leave me behind. At first, I celebrated. No more teasing, no more childish competition, and no more of his smug grin. But as the school year passed by, I had to admit it. I missed him a bit. There was no real challenge anymore. Eventually, I did start getting back-to-back perfect scores, but it wasn't the same. My parents were so proud of me. I was happy, don't get me wrong, but it was just so easy. It didn't feel like an accomplishment anymore. So, the years went by like a blur. I went to university and worked to get my archaeology degree. All the while, I volunteered as a museum tour guide. It was fun getting to teach people about my favorite subject, but something was always missing. But all that changed when I met Antonio one day after work, a tall, dark, and handsome older student working on his business administration degree. At first, I wasn't that interested, but he quickly impressed me with his knowledge of history. You also study archaeology?
No, but I do dabble. I'm more on the business side of archaeology. I like helping those more talented than me reach their full potential.
And you're saying I'm...
Yes, I'm saying you're talented and I want to work with you. What do you say? We can discuss details over coffee.
Well, all right. After my volunteering work, though.
Of course.
The day was set, and it was wonderful. After so many years, I finally found someone else who shares my passion for history. We spent hours talking, mostly about my job in the museum, something I was happy to talk about. For the next 2 months, my days were spent with Antonio. We studied, worked, and had fun together. We were a couple in all but name. For some reason, I was never able to take that step with him. But the next day, things would be different. I was going to ask him out. That plan, however, burned up while I was working at the museum and leading my current group. And here, we have what some would call the secret map to the Akashic Records. Legend says, if you can crack the code, you can find the record buried in some desert. It's believed the record details the written language of actual angels. But that's just a myth and doesn't...
Actually, it's believed the record is the written account of all events throughout time. You're thinking of something else, Mindy. You never were one for the stranger side of history.
That voice, it can't be. Tim?
Oh. You must have missed me if you're using my nickname.
No, I didn't. Shut up. I tried to deny it, but I had missed him. Even his familiar smug grin didn't cause me to groan. Wow, he really grew up. He almost looked hot. No, think of Antonio. I'm supposed to ask him out on a real date today. But that's when I noticed something. Timmy just corrected me in front of my tour group. That's not what the Akashic Records are about.
Really? Well, I'm sure it doesn't relate to the language of angels.
How would you know? Have you ever seen the records?
Have you? Admit it, Min. I got you beat once again, and I've only just come back.
Before we could get into one of our serious debates again, someone entered into the equation.
Are you okay, Mindy? Is this guy bothering you?
No, he...
Oh, you must be Antonio. Nice to meet you.
You know each other?
No, I don't think so. Do I know you?
Nah, but I know you. Upcoming businessman with a strong interest in history, archaeology, and people? Word gets around.
But I have never heard of you or your relation to Mindy.
I've been away for a long time.
Maybe you should have stayed away. Mindy clearly doesn't want you here.
Now wait a minute,
She should be the one to decide, don't you think?
I think she has. The question is if you will comply or will I have to call security?
Didn't know you owned the place, or are you getting to that?
Red lightning cracked between their gazes. My tour group was slowly backing away, and I was at a loss for words. What in the world was going on? My salvation came in the form of my boss, who quickly ended the tense confrontation. Timmy gave me a wink before leaving. Antonio stayed with me the rest of the day, which was sweet of him, but I couldn't get what happened out of my mind. I should be mad, but despite everything, a smile was slipping. Timmy was back, and it was like he never left. We easily picked up where we left off, bickering like an old married couple. Not that I want to marry him, he was still insufferable. So because of that, I completely forgot to ask Antonio out. Well, maybe next time. But the next time never came. Timmy showed up every day afterward. We would bicker and argue over historical facts. I actually remembered more facts correctly this time. It didn't wipe that grin off his face, but I couldn't bring myself to care that much. The fun ended every time Antonio came, and that's when the guilt crept in. I'd been putting off asking Antonio out, and I don't know why. I liked him, and I was quite sure he liked me too. Wasn't it wrong of me to be talking with Timmy so casually? For me to so easily fall back in step with another guy? It wasn't fair to Antonio, but it also wouldn't be fair to Timmy to ignore him. This cycle of guilt continued for almost a month until Antonio pulled me aside one day during work.
I think you should stay away from that Timmy guy. He might be looking to steal something from the museum.
What? This is Timmy we're talking about. He loves history. He would never...
Based on what you told me, he's obsessed. Worse still, you haven't seen him in years. He's not the same person you knew.
What Antonio didn't know was that Tim loved this stuff as much as me. If I wouldn't do it, then I'm sure he wouldn't. But the thought wouldn't leave my mind. It got worse when I started noticing things. I thought Timmy was here for me, but he did spend a lot of time just looking around. The problem was what he was looking at. Cameras, the guards, and especially the Akashic Records map? No, he wouldn't, right? He's not like that. But how well did I know Timmy? He'd been gone for years. Who knew what could have happened during that time? These thoughts haunted my nights, and they wouldn't go away. So I made a decision. If I couldn't sleep, I may as well stake out the place, like in the movies. If Timmy was innocent, I wouldn't see him there, and all I'd lose is sleep. But if I did find him, I had no idea what I'd do. So for the next few days, I kept watch of the museum at night, hoping and praying not to see Timmy. But my prayers weren't answered. A week in, I saw him, Timmy, picking the lock and entering the museum. My heart shattered. Timmy betrayed me? Me? Of all people, his rival? I couldn't let this stand. Thoughts of sleep faded away to thoughts of doing what I've always wanted to do, but never found a reason for. Punching Timmy in his stupid face. I carefully followed Timmy's trail through the dark museum. When the coast seemed to be clear, I picked up the pace and ran towards the room where the map was. And to my horror, it was gone. And standing not too far away was Timmy. I was too mad to think. I stormed over and punched him in the face, hard enough to knock him down.
Min?
Don't you ever call me that again! How could you? Stealing a historical artifact? Breaking and entering? Using me to get close to it?
I didn't steal it. Mindy, listen,
No, you listen! I was wrong to trust you. I don't know why I ever did. It's not like we were ever really friends. But I thought you at least understood me, that you loved history as much as me and would never do something like this. I couldn't stop my tears from falling from my face.
Mindy, I didn't steal it. Look at me. If I did, then where is it?
You must have hidden it when you heard my footsteps.
That big thing? Really, Min, you're smarter than that. Min, please trust me. You're the last person I would want to hurt. So believe me when I say I would never do something if it meant it would upset you.
For the first time, Timmy actually looked dead serious. For a second, I believed him. But if he didn't steal it, then...
I guess I have to deal with you both.
Timmy got in front of me to protect me from whoever spoke, but I instantly knew that voice. Antonio?
I'm sorry I had to come to this, Mindy. I really did enjoy your company.
I knew you were after the map. Didn't think you could bribe the guards to leave, though. I was surprised by how empty the place was.
Why, Antonio? All this time, it was Antonio who was using me. I was too focused on Timmy to realize.
Why? Because regardless of which one of you is right about the map, I'll be rich after I sell the records.
Money? Really? Typical.
That map and the record, if it exists, belong in a museum, not in the hands of some rich collector.
It's not up to you, I'm afraid.
Before he could reach into his pocket, Timmy tackled him with surprising speed. The two started to grapple, tear, and pummel one another as I stood frozen in my spot.
Run, Min! Call the police while I hold this guy off!
I listened, not because I wanted to, but because my instincts kicked in. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to be dragged into this big conspiracy. I just wanted to get my degree, find a job, find a husband, and live a normal life. Husband. My steps slowed to a crawl as I looked back at my time with Tim. Despite the frustrations, I also loved my time with him. And when he left, a hole was born. A hole I thought Antonio could fill. But instead, he was just an imposter. The person I wanted to ask out, the person who makes me smile, it's clear who it is. He's someone I couldn't bear to lose permanently. So I ran. This time, to find something to save him with. Quickly, I found the first thing that looked like it could hurt Antonio. A spear believed to have been used by our ancient ancestors. I ran back to the two men and found Antonio standing over Tim, ready to end him.
Your father would be so disappointed in you.
With all my strength, I swung the blunt end of the weapon across his head. Thankfully, it knocked him out, but it also broke the spear.
Whoa, did you, Little Miss Historian, just break a historical artifact?
I'd do it again for you. I actually made Tim blush. I helped him up, but I didn't let go of his hand.
Min,
You don't have to say anything, okay? So what now?
We clean this place up, call the police, and find the map. I'm sure he didn't move away from the museum just yet.
So that's what we did. The map, thankfully, was recovered from a closet. Tim was right. Antonio didn't have time to properly move it. After that, we were congratulated by the city and the museum for our brave actions. We were even given $10,000 for our heroics. Antonio was sent to prison, and Tim joined me at the museum. But something tells me our adventures are far from done, if Tim's knowing smirk is anything to go by.
I was enjoying my ice cream cone when I heard screaming and saw people running from a nearby bank. Most girls would go for safety, but I am not like most girls. I ran towards the bank and saw a robber in a ski mask holding a hostage. I had to think fast. I pulled my hood over my head, hid my ice cream cone around my back, and entered the bank. Nobody move! I'm robbing this bank! The robber turned around, totally confused.
This is awkward. I'm actually robbing this place, so...
No way! What a coincidence! Let's team up.
Sorry, sister. I work alone.
As the robber moved his gun to talk to me, I threw my ice cream, splattering him in the face. I moved like the Flash, grabbed his gun, pointed it at him, and he surrendered immediately. Everyone was telling me how heroic I was. I felt amazing until I overheard one handsome guy in the crowd respond.
Wow, she's amazing!
Yeah, she's brave, but also stupid to put herself and others in danger. She should have let the police handle it.
What was his deal? I turned towards that jerk to give him a piece of my mind, but a muscular hand grabbed my arm and pulled me away. My eyes sparkled with excitement when I realized that hand belonged to Aiden, my oldest brother's best friend from boot camp. And I totally had the biggest crush on him ever since I saw him hugging my brother at his graduation.
Wow, Astrid. I was in the area and saw everything. Can I take you out for lunch?
Pinch me, because Aiden just asked me out on a date.
Are you okay?
Sir, yes, sir. I followed Aiden to a nearby park where he had rented a rowboat for us. This was my notebook moment. Oh, minus the dying grandparents. I prepared myself for Aiden's love confession when he leaned in. I readied my lips.
Now that we're alone, I wanted to offer you a job on behalf of the president.
What?
I work in secret operations, and there's a job you'd be perfect for. Have you ever considered going undercover?
Like a spy? Not really.
We've been chasing this exotic animal trader known as Wildcat Carla. We think she just stole a bunch of albino tigers from a nature preserve and wants to turn them into coats.
What a monster! But wait, the president cares that much about animals?
Actually, the president wants her in jail for other things as well, but they're top secret. We also discovered she's looking for a housekeeper, and we need to get you on the inside.
So, you want me to pretend to be a housekeeper just to collect evidence on this Carla Cat girl? Just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I'm good at cleaning.
No, but you were raised by a military family, and I've been to your house. It's spotless.
He had a point. We have a saying at home, cleanliness is close to godliness.
We need a girl so it's not suspicious, especially one who can defend herself just in case. Someone I can trust completely, and it's only you who comes to mind.
Mind? Aw, I wish I was closer to his heart than his mind.
And if you're able to confirm that Carla has the tigers, we'll pay you $3 million.
I'm in. That wasn't a bad deal. I got the job easily, but when I showed up, I realized this place was a dump. No wonder no one else wanted this job. I turned a corner cleaning when, crash! I slammed into one Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome. To my shock, it was the same jerk who called me stupid after I had saved all those people at the bank. Thankfully, he didn't recognize me. Achoo! Then this thirst trap started sneezing everywhere. Suddenly, Wildcat Carla came running in. What have you done, you stupid girl? My son, Mason, is highly allergic to dust. And he sneezed right on Carla's face. I'll fix this. I grabbed Mason and ran to the bathroom, throwing him into the shower as fast as I could. As water poured down on us, Mason stopped sneezing. If he wasn't known as a jerk, or I was so worried about keeping my job, I would have considered this romantic. I turned off the water, but Mason kept blinking at me. You good?
Yeah, you saved me.
You can stay, for now. And Carla disappeared back into the darkness.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'm just a housekeeper. But if I save a few lives, I guess that's a win-win.
No, I mean about my mom. She can be a lot. Sure you're up for this?
Why wouldn't I be?
You look delicate, and it's a tough job.
And then I grabbed him with one hand and pulled him to his feet in one swoop. Mason was floored, literally. How's that for delicate? I walked off like the awesome boss I am. The look on Mason's face told me he would not make that mistake again. The next day when sweeping, I saw Carla enter a suspicious warehouse on the edge of her property. I was just done setting up some microphones when…
Well, if it isn't my hot housekeeper.
The name is Astrid.
I'm throwing a party here tonight and I want you to clean it up for me, since you are my employee.
And then, with a flip of his hair, he walked away before I could answer. I showed up to the party that night with a new +1, my mop. Romantic, right? But Mason's friends were bigger jerks than he was. They started having mess-making contests and would force me to clean up after them, laugh, then make a mess all over again. You better stop unless you want me to kick all of your butts. Before I could even wind up my fist, Mason snapped his fingers and security escorted those losers out.
She is my housekeeper, not yours!
Hello? I don't need you to fight my battles for me. I can clean up after myself. But as I stepped forward to give it to him, I slipped on a spilled drink and clumsily fell into Mason's arms. My face instantly flushed.
Looks like you need to be a better housekeeper. Want to dance?
But before I could reject him, this pretty girl pulled Mason away and started dancing with him. Ew! Don't dance with the help, dance with me. My stomach clenched. What a rude and privileged girl. But also, oh no, was this jealousy I was feeling? Stop it, Astrid. Don't get attached. Suddenly, this muscular dude came up to the two of them and pulled Mason away.
That's my girlfriend, jerk!
He threw a punch at Mason. Out of instinct, I jumped in, blocked it, then flipped the bully onto a nearby table, shattering it. Mason looked at me like I was Wonder Woman.
How did you do that?
My parents taught me karate straight out of the womb. It wasn't a total lie.
That was incredible! I want you to teach me how to fight, just like that, starting tomorrow.
Wait, what? That night, I called Aiden and told him everything.
Astrid, you can't get involved with Mason. His mother's a criminal.
I'm not getting involved. I want you, dummy.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. You should get Mason to fall in love with you. Maybe then he'll tell you his mother's secrets.
I don't want to be his girlfriend. He's called me stupid when I saved everyone at the bank.
You're undercover, Astrid. This is your chance to get him back, make him fall in love with you, and then show him who's really stupid.
I guess he had a point. The next morning, Mason burst into my room as excited as a schoolgirl.
Training time, it's Astrid and Mason's training time.
Gosh, he was annoying. But why did he look cute being excited? Ugh, focus, Astrid. Aiden's idea was already paying off because Mason took me into the warehouse through a key card he kept in his jacket. Noted. But inside, no tigers. Show me what you got. And what he had was pathetic. Mason got tired after 2 tiny punches. You're gonna need more focus if you want to defend yourself.
Yeah, I know. Mom tried to teach me how to fight once. I got 1 punch in and she spent 3 hours telling me everything I did wrong for 1 punch. She was right, I should just give up.
No, Mason, you have what it takes. Just, you have to believe in yourself. You got this. He got back up, more confident than before. Sure, he wasn't perfect by the end of the day, but he had thrown some solid hits. He even hugged me.
Thank you for believing in me.
Anytime?
Hey, my mom wants you to come with me to her zoo tomorrow.
I'm in. This was the first big lead I had in weeks. But when we pulled up, a protesting group of animal lovers blocked the entrance. They had signs accusing Mason's mom of animal cruelty. Mason instantly turned the car around. He didn't speak for the whole drive back. He seemed embarrassed. We got back into Mason's, and he looked really sad, so I grabbed his hand, and my heart fluttered a bit. Is everything okay?
I have to be honest with you, Astrid. My mom didn't actually order you to come to the zoo with me. I like you, and I was worried you'd say no. You're the strongest, most beautiful girl I've ever met.
Aw, thanks.
My mom's been accused of some bad stuff. None of it is true, but I understand if you don't want to be with me.
Mason, I work for your mom, and I don't want her to get the wrong idea. I had to wrap this mission up as soon as possible. I knew Aiden said I could hurt him, but that doesn't mean I should. Besides, I actually started to like him. That night, when Mason was asleep, I snuck into his room and stole his key card from his jacket. I entered the warehouse, but a hand grabbed me and turned me around. It was Mason!
Astrid, how did you get my key card?
You gave me this.
What? When?
I panicked, grabbed his shirt, and kissed him as hard as I could. Mason, I changed my mind. I am madly in love with you.
I knew it.
I guess I had distracted him well because he only said,
I have a surprise for you tomorrow.
The next day, I was shocked to see a helicopter waiting for us. Mason flew us up to have the most romantic dinner of my life on top of a frozen mountain.
I had the chef make you one of everything, since I wasn't sure what was your favorite.
He held out a rose like the absolute gentleman I realized he was. I really have to pee. I called Aiden, but he was totally aloof.
For all we know, those tigers could be coats by now due to your puppy love routine.
I'm just doing what you told me to do.
Well, do it better. You're running out of time.
The next morning, I woke up with a horrible cold, probably from the snow, and Mason was sitting on the edge of my bed staring at me like I was an art exhibit.
I should have brought you a coat too. This is all my fault. Let me take care of you.
And before I could say anything, Mason sprung into action. Wow, you're really good at this.
I love nursing things back to health. Did you know I always wanted to be a vet?
No way.
Way? I love animals so much. Their cute little faces, they're the best. I would never do anything to hurt them.
You can still be a vet if you want.
You don't understand. After my dad left us, there was only Mom, so I couldn't say no to her. And she wanted me to follow her footsteps in her business.
And what kind of business is that?
If I show you, will you promise to keep it a secret?
I nodded. This was my chance. And Mason pulled me out of bed. He took me inside the warehouse and used his key card to open the secret door behind a punching mat. Whoa!
Shh! Mom can't know I took you here.
We walked down some secret steps into a huge pen where I was confronted with all the tigers. I instantly took a pic and hit send to Aiden. Gotcha.
Hey, you can't do that!
Sorry, just instinct.
Well, just don't send them to anyone. My mom is protecting these endangered animals from being experimented on.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course. That's what she told me.
Had I just made a huge mistake? Maybe Mason's mom wasn't the Cruella de Vil I was told she was. Gotta pee again. I ran up the stairs and called Aiden.
Great job, Astrid. The special agents are on their way because of you.
Tell the police to stay where they are. Carla is protecting the tigers, not turning them into coats.
He's lying to you, Astrid.
I don't... Suddenly, two strong hands grabbed me. It was Carla. I knew I never should have hired you.
Mom, let go of my girlfriend!
We turned to see Mason standing in the corner, distraught. Some girlfriend? This little double agent just called the cops on Mommy's operation.
Astrid? You what?
I can explain, Mason. Your mom wanted to turn the tigers into coats, not save them.
Mom, is this true?
And by the sheer look on Carla's face, I could tell it was true. Just then, the military burst into the warehouse, arrested her, and rounded up all the tigers safely. And then a familiar arm wrapped itself around me.
Great work, Astrid. It takes a lot to pretend to fall in love with someone just to get information out of them. You've earned this.
And he handed me a suitcase filled with cash. I turned around to see Mason staring at me. Aiden got to him first, though.
She's come a long way from that stupid girl at the bank, hasn't she? What? That was you? I knew you looked familiar.
Mason, wait, it's not what you think.
I can't believe I trusted you, Astrid. I gave you my heart, and you locked my mom up.
Mason, I'm sorry. I like you.
Yeah, right. You think I believe you after you just lied to my face for months? Goodbye, Astrid. Forever.
I couldn't blame him for blowing up on me, but he didn't realize that I had actually fallen in love with him during everything. The next week, Aiden asked me out. This was everything I thought I wanted, yet why did I feel so sad about Mason? He took me out on a rowboat again, but this time he leaned in and said,
The president wants to hire you as a full-time secret agent, if you want.
What? I thought you were gonna tell me you loved me.
Oh, Astrid, I do love you. Just not in that way. Didn't you know your brother and I are a couple?
I was definitely happy for them, but I also felt silly for obsessing over Aiden for years. Clearly, I wasn't his type.
So, what's it gonna be? You want the job?
But I politely turned him down. Going undercover wasn't worth it if it meant hurting someone I cared about. I texted Mason a novel of an apology, but he blocked my number. I guess I deserved it. A few years later, I was walking in the park when I saw our hurt baby bird. I wrapped it gently in my handkerchief and was pointed to the best animal hospital in town. When I arrived there, I was shocked to see Mason tending to a sick hamster. My heart raced. It had been too long. I pushed the door open and Mason looked up. For a split second, our eyes locked. The world seemed to fade, then reality set back in. I found this little one and thought you'd be able to help. I heard you're the best in town. Mason smiled softly.
Always the hero, huh, Astrid?
As we looked at each other, the weight of our past seemed both heavy and distant. I'm sorry, Mason. Not just for how things ended, but for everything.
It hurt, Astrid. Not just what happened with my mother, but thinking that everything between us was just an act.
It wasn't. Not all of it. Not the moments that truly mattered. Mason took a deep breath, releasing the bird which flew away.
Second chances are rare, but I believe everyone deserves one.
Even someone like me? He reached out, wiping away a tear with his thumb.
Especially for someone like you.
The room suddenly felt lighter, and we both felt hopeful. We knew there were tough times ahead, but together, it felt like we could do anything.